Hello there ladies and gentlemen, TX141 here, also known as Paul, welcoming you to an all new Ace in the Day gameplay for the arcade mode of War Thunder. In today's episode I shall be providing a channel update for February 2015. The gameplay you are going to get to see in the background is on the ground strike map Mediterranean Island, featuring my P-51D-5 Mustang. I have already reviewed this aircraft, and if you wish to see the review you may do so by clicking the link in the top right corner of your screen as displayed now. Without giving too much away, in the review I concluded that the P-51D lives up to its historical counterpart as being a very promising high altitude, high speed bomber escort, interceptor and fighter hunter in all extremes, especially when your opponents are in a lower energy state by comparison with your own. Nonetheless, for this video I was requested by a number of you to show the P-51D in a more equal light, whereby I would not have the energy advantage over my opponents and therefore have to fight them on equal terms. The problem is, with me as a player of War Thunder, I'm very conservative. Once I understand the nature of an aircraft, I will try to implement it to its full capacity, and at the same time I'm rather hesitant to go into a dogfight unless I've got a huge portion of advantages on my side, i.e. speed, energy, altitude. I want those all in my pocket before I enter into a dogfight, unless I'm very confident in my own abilities at a given point in the game. At the start of this match I decided to try and just go for it. And as you're going to see, at first I thought the enemy team was going to go for higher altitude positions and therefore provide me with this 1 versus 1 or more equal opportunity gameplay which a number of you requested. But they soon underestimated, or neglected I should really say, my existence in the sky. And I made them pay for it. So let's get started. Ergo, the channel update for today. And whilst I have a number of items on the agenda, I must start with the most important one. And that is a heartfelt thank you to all of you, whether you be a subscriber of old or a brand new one today, or whether you just drop by the channel every so often and watch 1 or 2 videos or have watched all of my videos today. Thank you to all of you for allowing us, and I will come on to that very shortly, for allowing us to reach 900 subscribers as of the start of this week. I say us because this is not a solo effort, no matter how you try to put it. Yes, I put in the time and effort to make the videos, get the commentaries, get the historical facts, and just to come up with new ideas for the channel every so often. But if it was not for you guys and girls coming up with more ideas, and some incredible ones, planes that I should review, tanks that I should buy and drive, the positive feedback in terms of comments, likes, or the negative criticism and feedback in terms of dislikes, or just certain comments, or just the little messages you provide when I log on sometimes, just to say thank you for the work, or even just on the forum, checking out the thread which has got all the reviews today. All of that, it's an absolute plethora of items to go through. If it were not for all of that from you guys and girls, the audience, none of this would be possible to the extent of which it has been realised today. And so that is why I say us and we, not I, me and myself. Because if it were not for you guys and girls, my dream of heading towards 1000 YouTube subscribers one day would not be progressing at such a phenomenal rate in my opinion. The dream is becoming a reality ever more every day, and we are in the final stretch, ladies and gentlemen. With this 900 subscriber milestone, it's 100 to go, and I have something incredibly special for all of you when I reach 1000. I had something lined up for Valentine's Day. Not something romantic or 50 Shades of Greyish. I had something special montage lined up for Valentine's Day. But I'm going to put that on hold. I want to bring something special for 1000 subscribers. Something which will be memorable both to myself and for this channel. But anyway, our thank you aside, let us move on to the less serious items of the discussion today. And that is firstly the new video series which we have started as of the beginning of 2015. Now straight from the offset, I believe one of the first videos I put up, if not the first of 2015, was some Ground Forces gameplay, an arcade game, my Panther D. Now that went down very well, and there was some encouragement not only to do more Ground Forces but to switch to realistic mode. Reason being, having to actually sight in the shots rather than rely on a highlight on the tank in arcade mode, and I'll be honest, I am enjoying realistic mode immensely. And I may even start making the transition to simulator mode when and where the player population allows for it, as simulator seems to have a lot less players by comparison with realistic, but perhaps that's to be expected. but the ground forces games will come along at a gradual rate. The reason being, I do not intend to be doing ground force vehicles reviews until after I've reviewed all the aircraft for arcade mode of War Thunder, so that's of course an extremely long time away. But at the same time, I hope to cover a variety of ground units and provide just a little bit of historical background and suggestions on how I use the tanks in a specific way. That way, essentially providing a sort of tips/guide video, but at the same time not providing too much formal content by comparison with the arcade reviews. The other series, of course, would have to be the subscriber series, of which there are two. So, subscriber spotlight, mincing my words already on the sibilance there. Subscriber spotlight being where you guys and girls can put forward replays for me to take a look at, and if you do not get featured on the channel, I can provide some feedback nonetheless on what you're doing right in my opinion, where you could improve, and items which have bewildered, puzzled or amazed me and that I will incorporate into my own playstyle for a given aircraft or two. I've had over 25 submissions for this already, and I have only had the chance to look at approximately 6, and I will be dedicating a good portion of my free time this weekend to ensure I watch the rest, to make sure they are not lost within the chasm, or chasm I should really say, sorry, silent H there, within the chasm of say a new patch coming along and wiping the replays out forever. Of course, I've had a number of people ask why do I not take YouTube videos, and the reason being is because this stemmed out of the what I believe was the Arcade Ace in a Day competition last year. Yep, it was that. It stemmed out of the fact that when I took YouTube submissions, it took me forever to get those submissions off of YouTube and into a file compatible with Sony Vegas, my video editor. To give you an idea, my version of Sony Vegas does not like working with MP4 format, and all of the YouTube ripping software or the YouTube downloaders work to MP4 format. But I believe I've recently been given a link by one of you which actually allows me to do this in a much more efficient manner. So if you would like to feature a gameplay using YouTube rather than the replay system, feel free to put it forward, you are always welcome. But at the same time, for those of you who only have the ability to use the replay system, do not feel obliged to go via YouTube. There's no pressure for you to do so. The other subscriber series of course would have to be the subscriber sessions, where I play with you guys and girls on a Friday night, usually from about 8 o'clock in the evening towards midnight. I've had a lot of fun doing these, and these have come off a lot better than what I expected, and so these will continue every Friday, I can assure you that. I will not be recording every session, and at the same time, if you do join and you do not want your voice to be recorded or the session to be recorded in general, just let me know. Do not feel forced. Remember, this is my time to engage with you guys and girls and the same back. So we are on equal ground in any case, and we are with this channel. As I said, we are a team. It is not me going against the world, or vice versa. So, the only other session or event, or what I should really say a series here, see I'm getting completely sidetracked already, is the uncensored videos, whereby I make a lot of mistakes usually and just put forward anything that really happens within a good stint of my time on War Thunder. And these have gone down just as well, especially the first episode in the I-301, my first impressions of that premium plane in arcade mode, whereby I got defeated by the trees. Although if you want to find out more about that, you'll have to take a look at the link in the top right corner of your screen as displayed now. I will carry on doing uncensored videos, and I've found a very good way to tie those videos in with the arcade reviews. Now when I get a suggestion to review an aircraft, especially one that I've yet to buy, I of course have to upgrade it, and I sometimes have utter frustration in upgrading the aircraft. If you want a key example, the A6M5 Raisin. Reason being, take it to too high a speed at the moment in stock condition and the elevator completely stops working, as I've found out on a number of maps when I've just flown into a mountain. But anyway, things like that I think would go down very well with War Thunder Uncensored, and so I will be tying the two series together to give you an idea of my experiences with some aircraft whilst I'm trying to upgrade them, and hopefully the uncensored nature of the video will make for just as much hilarity as in the previous renditions. So that's all the new stuff counted for here, but there are a couple of items of old which have sort of disappeared off of the channel. Well, it's actually two of them. Firstly, the TX's Tips series. If you remember that, that's where I provide a sort of insight into my playstyle on a more formal basis, whereby it's usually an extended video with examples, annotations, diagrams, all things along those lines. You know, the science stuff which I took from university. This has been requested to come back by a number of you, and I'll be honest, I actually feel bad for neglecting this series. because I had intentions to provide the 9th episode, my discussion of head-on attacks, over Christmas, but due to bad health, of course, this was mitigated. The series will return by the end of March, early April, that I can assure you, and I've also had requests to start discussing topics such as energy fighting, or at least from my perspective, and how I improve and attain decent accuracy on a game-by-game basis. So look out for those within about a month or two. The other series, which has disappeared off the radar a little bit, is War Thunder Live. Now, it is a series which I absolutely love and adore, because it has led to some of the most enjoyable moments of my War Thunder history. Especially my first ever kill in my first ever kill in realistic whilst using a joystick. Now, I'm not going to spoil that. You'll have to use the link in the top right corner of your screen in order to find out more. My goodness, the advertising on this video today is terrible. I'm sorry for that. But War Thunder Live is an incredibly enjoyable series on my behalf, and by the sounds of the comments I've received, on your behalf as well. The problem is, recently a lot of the events, the realistic events, have been centred around the ground forces or some rather odd combinations of vehicles or planes which may have never actually bumped into each other. I do not enjoy playing realistic on just a generic basis, i.e. waiting in a queue and getting into a tier by tier or battle rating by battle rating game, by comparison with the historical events, because I like it when aircraft that actually face each other go up against one another, and that's why I loved the Fight of the Swallows event, because the P-51s going up against the ME-262s is an incredibly satisfying experience, and I'm sure it is from the ME-262's perspective as well, and I'm inching ever closer towards getting my first of the Swallows. So as a result, I will carry on that series once the realistic events come back to life, and so I will be holding off for the time being until those events are recirculated by comparison with more ground forces orientated and the less serious ones that are currently in the rotation. So those are the two sort of series which will come back to the channel in the near future, but I just haven't had time in the recent couple of months. To be honest, in general, now that I've got, I think it's 6 or 7 series running simultaneously, it is a bit of a minefield to juggle them all. But at the same time, it also provides a huge amount of variation in what I can bring, which I love. Because this means now I'm not tied down to bringing 1 or 2 series. I don't have to think to myself, not that I do, but I don't have to think to myself, right, I've got to bring an arcade review tomorrow, then I've got in 3 days time to bring a War Thunder Live, then TX's tips, and complete the cycle. I can bring a huge multitude of videos to the channel now, and that is all because of your suggestions in the most part. Bar War Thunder Live, which I believe was something I went out on my own and did, although correct me if I'm incorrect there. So in terms of actually, in terms of upload schedules, I will be bringing a couple more reviews in the near future, and they will be focused around Japanese aircraft. I will do the I-301 review probably by the end of next week, firstly, because that has been requested by a number of you, especially seeing as it is a rather special premium plane because of the Get I-301 event. And then I will be moving back over to the Japanese for the time being, flying the A6M3 Mod 22 Co and then the A6M5. Reason being, I feel I've neglected the Japanese and I need to spend more time with them by comparison with the other nations. Following that, then there will be the shift to the TX's tips videos and trying to reignite War Thunder Live. So that will give you an idea of the base schedule, but please be aware this is not a fixed schedule. If it does change, it changes. I'm not working to a timetable or a plan. I don't have one in front of me, and I never have had one in front of me. I've just had the intention some days to make an arcade review because I haven't done one in a while, or because I get a number of requests on a given aircraft. And so really that's all for the channel update in terms of content, videos and anything else. A small personal aside, some of you may be aware that this year is the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, and as a result, I'm not sure around the world, but I know in the United Kingdom there are a number of airshow events dedicated to this, especially one at Biggin Hill. And yes, I will be attending the airshow at Biggin Hill for this rather spectacular event whereby you get to see the Spitfires fly over. And I'll be taking my video camera with me as well, because if we go back to that Headcorn Combined Operations event when we had the 2 Lancasters fly over, and I believe that was the Battle of Britain Memorial flight flying over, correct me if I'm wrong, that was something which was very well received here on the channel, and also something which really pulled at my heartstrings to an extent, because some days you wonder whether it will be a once in a lifetime opportunity to see such fine aircraft of the Second World War fly again. So I'm going to make a point of going to quite a variety of air shows this year. And with the game now being over and the channel update concluded, let us take a look at some post-game stats. Hence, we can see that our 11 kills and single assist allowed us to obtain 31,218 silver lions. On top of this, we achieved 2001 research points, all going towards our work on the P-51D-5 shooting star. We hereby conclude this video from a gameplay aspect by realising that whilst we went for a more confrontational approach in our P-51D-5 Mustang in this game, we were actually rewarded with an enemy team that was quite negligent and ignorant of our position in the skies. The enemy bombers flew on without any escort, and so we and our team could quickly dispatch the enemy bombers without too much hesitation. And at the same time, when we did find an enemy fighter up at the same altitude as ourselves, it was a Yak 9P who had tunnel visioned onto a friendly B-17. And so we were able to dispatch them accordingly and therefore take the skies from under the enemy team's noses. At which point we were able to position ourselves just after the enemy spawn and eliminate those who tried to climb up to face us, meaning that we had all the advantages which we required to use the P-51 Mustang so well. High speed, high altitude, and therefore high energy, but more significantly an energy state that is much higher by comparison with that of the enemy team. Really, I do agree with a number of you that perhaps the P-51D Mustang does require a battle rating of 4.3 or perhaps even lower, because it is a plane which by comparison with its battle rating contemporaries is not as good in a good portion of its aspects, i.e. turn circle, overall climb performance, all those aspects. Yes, this plane can be beaten quite easily. But I would challenge you to find an aircraft which is able to act as a high altitude bomber escort so reliably. Because in this game, as we saw towards the end, we allowed friendly B-17s along with the rest of our teammates to fly towards the enemy airfield and knock it out without much hindrance. And when we were drawn away from our friendly bombers, we could fly back over with relative ease because of our high top speed and acceleration. And it is because of all of this and incorporating all the notes we obtained from our review of this aircraft that we managed to come first by comparison to the rest of our team. Seeing as we just used the standard playstyle which I prefer to incorporate in this aircraft. And for reference, I made sure to drag this plane up to a battle rating of 5.0 to resemble the situation that the P-51D-30 would have in War Thunder's arcade mode. Finally, from a channel update aspect, I hope this channel update has been useful to you all. I apologise if there has been a bit of hesitation. It's been so much to cover in such a short period of time, but I think we got through it all in the end. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section below. And at the same time, if you did enjoy the video, why not leave a like, comment or subscribe for future War Thunder videos on my channel. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for everything so far. And hopefully, just hopefully, we can continue to expand and grow every second of every day. So take care, and good luck in the skies.